Picture this, a dimly lit hospital, the silence of the night broken only by the distant hum of machinery and the occasional beep of a monitor. It was a night like any other during my night shift as a nurse, or so I thought. Little did I know, this particular shift was about to become the most terrifying experience of my life. As the hours ticked by, a sense of unease began to settle over the hospital. The patient room seemed to grow colder, and an eerie feeling of being watched sent shivers down my spine. But the strangest thing was the patient in room 306. The moment I walked in, a chill crept over me, and the patient's eyes seemed to glow with an otherworldly light. Throughout the night, the hospital transformed into a labyrinth of fear. Disembodied footsteps echoed through the hallways, and the air grew thick with an unexplainable dread. The flickering lights cast eerie shadows, and whispers that shouldn't have been there filled the air. It was as if the very walls held the secrets of a haunting past. As the clock struck midnight, the hospital's once familiar layout began to twist and distort. Doors that led to nowhere. Endless hallways that looped back on themselves. It was as if I had stepped into a nightmarish maze. Panic set in as I realized that escape was impossible, and I was trapped in a surreal realm between the living and the dead. In my desperate search for answers, I stumbled upon a room that seemed to defy the laws of physics. Inside, I encountered faces of people I had cared for during my time at the hospital. Faces of patients who had passed away. Their eyes bore into me, pleading for something I couldn't understand. I was a witness to a macabre gathering of the departed. With each passing hour, the supernatural occurrences escalated. The hospital's once familiar corridors twisted and turned, leading me further into the abyss. The walls seemed to breathe, and the very air grew thick with malevolence. A sense of impending doom hung over me, and I knew I was not alone in this nightmare. As the night dragged on, I found myself drawn back to room 306. The patient's presence had grown stronger, and I could feel an overwhelming darkness emanating from within. Summoning every ounce of courage, I pushed the door open and was greeted by a sight that shattered my sanity. The patient, a twisted amalgamation of human and something else, staring at me with hollow eyes. In a desperate bid to escape, I fled from room 306, my heart pounding in my chest. The hospital itself seemed to fight against my efforts, its walls closing in as if to keep me trapped forever. My mind raced, and the line between reality and nightmare blurred as I fought to break free from the clutches of the supernatural. As the first rays of dawn broke through the darkness, the hospital returned to its normal state. I emerged shaken and scarred from the labyrinth of terror that had consumed my night shift. To this day, I'm haunted by the memory of that night. And I can't help but wonder if what I experienced was real or simply a descent into madness. So, there you have it, my chilling tale of the nightmare on the night shift. As I recount this story, I can still feel the weight of that night's horror pressing upon me. If you ever find yourself working the night shift in a place that's normally bustling with life, remember my story and brace yourself for the unknown. If you enjoyed this hair-raising journey, don't forget to hit that like button and share this video with your friends. And if you have your own terrifying night shift experiences or supernatural encounters, share them in the comments below. And as always, subscribe to my channel for more spine-tingling stories like this. Until next time, stay vigilant and keep your flashlight close. You never know what darkness might be lurking just beyond the shadows. It was a gloomy night, and I found myself on the clock for a night shift at an abandoned hospital. Yes, you heard that right, an abandoned hospital. The place was straight out of a horror movie, with broken windows, flickering lights, and an eerie silence that hung in the air. But little did I know that the real terror was yet to come. As I settled into my routine, the emptiness of the hospital felt suffocating. The echoing footsteps of my own shoes were the only company I had. I heard rumors about this place, rumors of patients who had never left, of ghostly figures that roamed the hallways. I dismissed them as urban legends, the kind of stories you tell around a campfire. But soon, I would learn that some legends are born from the darkest truths. It was around midnight when things took a turn for the worse. I heard faint whispers like distant conversations carried by the wind. At first, I tried to rationalize them, attributing them to my tired mind playing tricks. But the whispers grew louder, and I began to recognize voices. The voices of patients, of doctors, of people who should not have been there. As I walked down a dimly lit corridor, a figure appeared in front of me. A nurse in a dated uniform, her eyes hollow and filled with a longing that sent shivers down my spine. I froze, my heart pounding like a drum in my chest. I watched in disbelief as she walked through the wall and disappeared into thin air. My rational mind crumbled, leaving me face to face with the inexplicable. Driven by a mix of fear and curiosity, I began to research the history of the hospital. What I uncovered was a dark and twisted past, a history of experimental treatments, of patients who had suffered and died in the name of progress. The abandoned hospital held the echoes of their pain, and it seemed they were determined to make their presence known. With each passing night, the activity intensified. Doors slammed shut on their own, equipment turned on without explanation, and shadows danced on the walls. But the most horrifying moments were when I felt a cold breath against my neck, or heard footsteps echoing behind me, even though I was utterly alone. One fateful night, I found myself drawn to the hospital's basement, the heart of its darkness. As I descended into the depths, I felt a malevolent energy enveloping me. It was there that I came face with the source of the haunting. A room filled with old photographs and medical records. The spirits of the past wanted their stories to be heard, and their anger was palpable. The hospital had become a living nightmare, a prison of the restless souls that were trapped within its walls. The decision to leave was not easy, but my survival instinct kicked in. I bid farewell to the haunting hospital, my heart heavy with the weight of the paranormal encounters I had endured. Looking back, I often wonder what draws us to places of darkness, to the mysteries that lie just beneath the surface. My night shift at the abandoned hospital left me with more questions than answers. A tale I can't help but share with you all. And there you have it, my chilling experience during that unforgettable night shift. If you've ever felt a shiver down your spine or a cold breeze on a warm night, remember, sometimes the truth is scarier than fiction. If you enjoyed this heart-pounding tale, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more spine-tingling stories. Have you ever encountered the paranormal? Share your experiences in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe. And remember, the darkness holds secrets that you may not be ready to uncover. Good night. If you can sleep after hearing my stop. It was a cold winter night, and I was preparing for my routine night shift at a secluded and eerie location. The building had an unsettling history, rumored to be haunted by the souls of those who had met tragic fates there. As the clock struck midnight, I couldn't shake the feeling that this night was going to be different. As I settled into my work, the dimly lit hallways seemed to whisper secrets of their own. Strange sounds echoed through the corridors, and the flickering lights cast eerie shadows on the walls. Each step I took sent shivers down my spine, as if I was being watched by a malevolent presence that lurked in the darkness. My tasks were routine, but the building had other plans. Objects moved on their own, doors creaked open, and cold gusts of wind sent a chill through the air. The temperature seemed to drop drastically, and my breath fogged up in front of me. Was it just my imagination, or was something truly supernatural unfolding before my eyes? Curiosity got the best of me, and I decided to investigate the building's dark past. I learned that it was once a hospital where countless lives had been lost. As I dug deeper, I uncovered stories of unexplained deaths, mysterious disappearances, and even tales of vengeful spirits seeking justice. The pieces of the puzzle were falling into place, and the horror of the night took on a new dimension. As the hours passed, the paranormal activity intensified. Footsteps echoed behind me when I was alone. Whispers brushed against my ear, and shadows danced in my peripheral vision. The boundary between the living and the supernatural was blurring, and I felt like I was caught in a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. In a moment of courage mixed with fear, I decided to confront the entity that had been tormenting me throughout the night. Armed with a flashlight and trembling hands, I ventured into the heart of the building, guided by the whispers that seemed to call my name. The air grew heavier, and the feeling of being watched became unbearable. In the depths of the building, I encountered an apparition that sent a shockwave of terror through me. A figure stood before me, cloaked in darkness, its eyes gleaming with an otherworldly light. It reached out, its icy touch grazing my skin, and a wave of despair washed over me. The entity seemed to be communicating, but its intentions remained unclear. In a desperate bid to escape the entity's clutches, I raced back through the hallways, my heart pounding in my chest. The building seemed to shift and contort, its architecture morphing into a twisted labyrinth that defied logic. My breath was ragged and my mind raced as I sought a way out of this nightmare. As I burst through the exit, gasping for air, I turned to look back at the building one last time. The entity's presence lingered, its ethereal form fading into the darkness. Whether it was a spirit seeking solace or a malevolent force seeking revenge, I may never know. But one thing was certain. The nightmare of that night shift would forever be etched into my memory. And there you have it, my friends. The harrowing tale of my night shift horror. If you enjoyed this spine-tingling story, make sure to hit that like button and share it with your fellow horror aficionados. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more hair-raising tales that will keep you up at night. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the unknown. Until next time, remember that the night holds secrets that are best left undisturbed. If you dare to explore, stay safe, and may your nights be free from the terrors that lurk in the dark.